want to just start by talking about one of the core values that we have that you would see if you came to Infusionsoft. You would see this on the wall. We believe in people and their dreams. And for small business owners, most small businesses start with a dream. And that might be a dream of freedom, meaning I want to finally have control, or I want to have income that isn't set by somebody else, and I want to have time. Or maybe it's a dream about impact that you want to make. But I want you to just start today, to start our conversation, reconnecting with that dream. What is the dream behind your company? And let's evaluate today whether you're living the dream that you set out to live. For Infusionsoft, our dream is to revolutionize the way small businesses grow. Everything that we do is to help small businesses succeed. And so you'll hear kind of the story of how that all came about and the things that we've learned as we've interacted with small business owners. So we've had 3 questions as a company that we've been circling around for a long time. Number one, why is it that so many small businesses just seem to survive and not really thrive the way that they thought they would when they started their company? And the second question is, well, what about all those people who actually are really thriving? Isn't it frustrating when you look around and you see somebody who's, they're not smarter than you, and they're probably not working harder than you, but their business is just doing, they have all the customers they need. Why is that the case? And the last thing, obviously, we're a software company, and we ask ourselves the question, what tools can we offer to help more small businesses succeed? I heard from a small business owner. He's actually an attorney, and he understood some of the principles that we're talking about today, and he came up and he said, hey, Scott, check this out. Last year, actually, I'm not sure if it was last year, but recently, in the last couple of years, I bought another law practice that was literally in bankruptcy. And I turned it, the next year after I bought it, I used the principles of lifecycle marketing, and I turned it into $642,000 of revenue. And the way I did it is by talking to the no's, meaning I took the people that were approaching the business and said they weren't interested, and we implemented lifecycle marketing, and from bankruptcy to $642,000. That's what we want to talk about today, is how can we take, I'm not trying to imply that you're sitting in bankruptcy. I think many of us are doing well, and we have weeks and months of plenty, but how can we have more consistent thriving in our business? That is the focus. So we've spent a lot of time asking these questions. In fact, we spent 10 years. We've talked to over 10,000 small business owners. In fact, at Infusionsoft, about every 3 months, we get about 10,000 hours. You heard the concept of expertise coming in about 10,000 hours. Well, we talk to about 10,000 hours. When you add up all the employees in our company, we have spent 10,000 hours on the phone every 3 months with small business owners. And it's what we love. And what you're seeing here, I kind of have a whiteboard fetish. I feel like there's just power in what you can do with the whiteboard. So for 10 years, we have been researching and asking the questions, what are the patterns for the businesses that are working versus the ones that are thriving versus the ones that are failing? And we've been working on these models. You see a bunch of different models up here. Some of them, frankly, were kind of crappy and didn't really work. But everything that we've talked about today, or everything that we'll talk about today in this workshop, is going to be the results of this intense research that we've done. So I want to start with this question. Why is it that so many businesses just survive? First of all, and I've heard different stats, somewhere between 50 and 80% of small business don't even survive the first 5 years. And of those who survive, the real travesty is that almost none of the businesses, as a percentage, almost none of them will ever thrive the way that they envisioned that they would. I think people start a company and they have a vision of a well-oiled machine that grows, that you can hire the people you need to, but not hire too many people to create headaches, and you can have the revenue, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. And so, we're a software company, and for the first couple of years, we just figured, man, our software can change the world. But we've recognized that actually it's a lot more than just software that small businesses need. Actually, and that's why we're talking today about strategy. One of our good friends of the company, Michael Gerber, he said, most entrepreneurs really aren't entrepreneurs at all. They're actually technicians, meaning they've got some technical skill. And they're suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure, right? They wake up one day and they're like, man, I'm tired of making, this other person making money off me. I'm going to go out and start my own company. And they get in and they realize, oh, man, this is a lot more. Man, the customers don't just show up. And this is a little bit harder than I thought it would be. And so, there's a lot of challenges that come with growing a business. We're going to focus today specifically on the sales and marketing, because it's my belief that the reason small businesses just either fail or just end up surviving is because the small business does not understand how to create a steady stream of customers. That's what they want. I mean, think about it. What do you want? You want to be able to just show up, do your thing, and have plenty of customers. And so, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, as small business owners, we don't come out of the womb, so to speak, understanding how to do marketing and sales. It's kind of a learned behavior. We don't have requirements for schooling and so forth that teach us that very well. And we certainly can't look around at what the other big businesses are doing. And so, unfortunately, a lot of small businesses just end up looking around and watching what other small businesses who are just surviving or failing, they watch what they're doing and they copy that, and it just doesn't work. Here's what we've seen. Some of this might feel a little bit too real for you, and we won't spend too much time on this, but here's what we've seen. And we try to find an analogy that would work really well for how most small businesses, most of these survivors market. And here's what we came up with. The caveman. Most survivors market like a caveman. What do I mean by this? Well, let's think about the day in the life of a caveman. He wakes up in the morning, goes out, rolls off of his rock bed, probably. He's hungry, so he goes outside of his cave. He finds the herd, probably sneaks up on them, singles out the weakest of the herd, right? Chases them down, beats them, and drags that meal back to the cave, and he eats. And then what does he do the next day? He starts all over. And as a result, he's really just surviving. He's always chasing. Let's talk about survival marketing and what it really looks like. Well, the problems with survival marketing are, number one, we're always chasing. There's never a time where it just, the food just comes to us. We got to always go out there and get sweaty and run around, and, we can't just relax. Second, our marketing ends up feeling disjointed. When we don't have a solid strategy, we end up we call it sometimes on again, off again marketing. I've heard spray and pray. I think those are both pretty good definitions for a lot of marketing plans. And probably the biggest thing is, as business owners, we just don't have the confidence that our marketing plan is going to bring us the customers we need. And so there's just this weight. And when I don't have enough customers, I don't have enough revenue, I can't hire the people I need to. And life is not as I envisioned it would be. Well, Infusionsoft, 10 years ago, if you'd back up, we were in a very different place. Like I said, we started in one of my spare bedrooms. We started doing custom software development, and it was a hard thing for us. I remember back in the early days of our company, on two different situations, we had periods of 4 to 6 months where we went with literally zero income. And I remember what that was like. My wife and I would talk, and she'd be like, Scott, when are you going to actually, turn this around and start making oh, sweetie, we're going to do it, just hang in there. She's like, yeah, whatever. That's what you told me last month, And it's just a hard thing. I remember one time we were talking about our finances, and she said, hey, Scott, you have got to stop going to Circle K. It's killing us. I'm like, well, by the way, this is when the super big gulp was like 69 cents, right? Not 99 cents or whatever it is today. And, that's how hard it was. And I just remember, kind of deep into the core of our company is actually that passion and understanding of what it's like to be a small business owner. And I remember feeling misunderstood, and people didn't get it. They're just like, oh, well, dude, you need to just calculate your hour. Like, if you're doing all these things you shouldn't be doing, calculate your hourly rate. And then if you're ever doing something that's less more than that hourly rate, you need to hire somebody to do it. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't have any money. I'm going to take every dime I make out of this thing and put it in the company. So it just, our early experiences at Infusionsoft helped us to really understand that having a long lineup of customers is what we need. And ask yourself this question. If you had all the customers that you needed, couldn't you figure out just about any problem that you had in your business and take care of it? So let's talk about what survival marketing looks like typically, and then we're going to jump into the meat of lifecycle marketing. So here's what survival marketing looks like typically. We go out, we generate interest, we raise our hands, run around and put flyers all over the place, and try to spend money wisely. I remember when we spent $5,000 on a postcard campaign and it got literally 0 results. That was fun. And then we go and we sell to our hottest leads. We are very good at doing that as business owners, right? We're the caveman. We're out. We're surviving and we're eating. And then what do? Well, it's like, all right, got the money. Got to go start again, right? And the whole process starts over. And it's just this cycle of constantly chasing. Now, here's the problem with the standard, the status quo for small business sales and marketing. Number one, there is opportunity slipping through the cracks everywhere. Okay, we've got leads, we got traffic coming to our website or to our store or anywhere that is just slipping through the cracks. We've got leads that are slipping through the cracks, and we've got perfectly good customers who are either leaving us or not coming back to buy because we're just not doing what it takes to make them happy. And here's the thing that's most fascinating for me. Most business owners know this. You can feel, I mean, how many of you right now feel like, man, yeah, I am losing traffic and I am losing leads and I am losing customers, but you just don't know exactly what to do about it? Well, today we're going to talk about uncovering that and what's the system you can use. And I'm not talking software, I'm talking about the methodology and the framework you can use to find, identify, and extract that value, okay? The second big problem in survival marketing is this. How many of you feel like this looks familiar? You go out and you're saying, okay, I want to grow, so I'm going to go start looking at technologies that I can use. And just when I get my website up, usually it's my third version of my website because I didn't like the other two, right? That sounds familiar. Then Facebook comes out. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, I can hang with that. So I create a Facebook account. Just when I get Facebook figured out, oh, now there's Google+. And then Pinterest. Well, what do I need to do about Pinterest, you know? And by the way, I feel like I learn more about what happens at home on Instagram, because that's my wife's little tool of choice today, than I do. I mean, I learned lots of stuff about that. And so as a marketer, well, okay, that's a new technology. How could I use that? And so all these technologies create a chaos. Our customers are going online and we're like, all right, how do we figure this out? Well, without the strategy, that stuff is going to kill you. And it's the train you can't ever catch. There's always going to be something new. And so I'm here to say that the place to start is not to actually start with the technology. It's actually to start with the strategy. And then you can understand how to leverage the technology to accomplish a specific goal.